Like Perlac here to entertain you with the help of Marty Simon and YouTuber Yana Ainsanova. Yo way o home vare yo era jarum brudenji yo way o home vare yo era jarum brudenji yo era jarum brudenji for our home, for our dreams, for all souls and all living things, we must fight the evil will. We must fight as long as we breathe. We must fight as long as we can breathe. Long stair road that leads to peace. Long stair road and gold's hide in mist. But the choice also is clear. Live as slaves or fight to be free. Live as slaves or die to be free. Yo hueo home vare yo hera jarum brudenji yo hueo home vare yo hera jarum brudenji yo hera jarum brudenji. That's the Fighters for Freedom song by a race of romantic dreamers called the Brunenji from the show LEXX. Now, I've made and posted some videos talking about the show LEXX, primarily more in-depthly about the Season 3 primarily, but I haven't really talked in depth, really, about the origins of the show. So I wanted to talk a little more in-depthly about that and make a video about it. Spoiler alerts, just as a general rule, but for those who want to be 100% blind. But I'm not really going to give away anything beyond the first movie that introduced the series, LEXX, because I recently I'm loaning it to my mom and she's watching it. So, Mom, you can watch this video. I'm not really going to be talking in depthly about the series as a whole. This video is basically a recap of the introductory movie to the series LEXX. Specifically the character Stanley H. Tweedle. I haven't really talked too much about him in past videos I've made so far about the show. But it seems to me, this is a little spoiler alert in Season 4, but no big thing. But it seems to me that the Stanley character at the beginning of Season 4 seems to have found a more degree of comfort in their nomadic existence or predicament. He now refers to the LEXX crew, the LEXX crew, and even that word is not fully accurate, referring to them as a family unit. Which is funny when you consider Stanley is a guy who, until 4,000 years ago in the show, 6,008 years ago in the show, and starting in Season 4, but and 3 seasons ago, he really just existed, never really seizing the day, so to speak. He He just did whatever the powers that be told him to do. Another member of this unique family unit is Zev, a female who, rejected by her parents because she wasn't what they wanted, was raised in a box to be the perfect wife, only to be verbally assaulted on the altar by the childlike stranger that was to be her husband. She retaliates, decks him, and is condemned to be a love slave. A love slave for a big shot who, like Stanley Tweedle, also is obedient to the powers that be. The powers that be called in this show his divine order. The divine order of his shadow. Another member of this unique family unit is Kai, a 6,008-year-old dead guy who was the last of his people who defied the divine order, was killed by his shadow, and rather than incinerate and destroy the corpse as the shadows did with all other Brunanges, the divine order decides to turn Kai's corpse into an assassin to do his bidding. All part of his divine shadow's escape plan. An escape plan, where he's going to escape in this thing he's creating and feeding, the LEXX, to escape out into the universe and blow up planets that he deems he doesn't like them. That the LEXX, who is also arguably a member of this unique family unit, which is basically a bug-like spaceship who was born and grown living off harvest organs of the condemned humans on the League of 20,000 planets that live in a presumed utopia under his divine shadow's orders, as long as they're obedient to the divine order. And then there's 790, who to me is more or less the comic release of the series, who is basically a robot head with a little piece of human brain integrated into his functionality, which also helps navigate and solve problems in the series. So he does serve a purpose. Because not all human organs that were harvested were fed to the LEXX. Some of them were turned into mechanical entities for the purpose of his divine shadow, to do his divine shadow's bidding. In that kind of society, social system, I'm sure there would be plenty of humans willfully giving themselves to such an order. Human nature, the whole, okay, I'll do as you say. Just take care of me. See that I'm okay. The hell with everybody else. Just take care of me. Human nature. So, as far as in my personal interpretation, his divine shadow was basically a parasite who was successful in convincing dumb humans within a league of 20,000 planets in the, quote, light zone universe that he was God. Sort of like, basically like Hollywood political and criminal elitists here in our world, in a nutshell. And it takes a small group of heretics, a small group who were basically descendants of from 2,000 years of people whom just cling to hope for something better in life. This small group of heretics. It took this group of heretics against his divine order to steal the key to the LEXX. Thousands of years of these believers sacrificing, themselves, and one of the top heretic dudes is the due to be executed in the first movie, and he's due to be executed before the masses in an arena-like setting, so they can see the power of his shadow and the control of the divine order before their eyes. You better not flunk with my divine order, or I'll make mincemeat out of you. Kind of like Nancy Pelosi here in the real world. But it takes this small group of heretics, quote, heretics, to steal the key to the LEXX because I guess most of the masses in this this universe are okay with limited, mediocre existence as long as the divine order, in a manner of speaking, wipes their butt for them. Sound familiar? But the Stanley character was a putz. He was a putz. But he just did whatever the divine order demanded of him, even if it meant sacrificing his own organs. Because that's how fearful he was of death. Yeah, even in the introductory movie, he even has to choose between giving 3 of his organs or being executed. It's like, well, it's just a kidney, an eyeball, and a testicle, so I guess to his mind at that moment, that's better than death. Because his shadow has no dominion over life. Probably why the shadow needs to feed human organs to make and feed the LEXX. Tool. Tool's Undertow comes to mind. The CD Undertow from Tool. There's a song on there. I think it's a hidden track, too. I don't think it's actually recorded on the artwork. But a song, the last song on the Tool album, Undertow. This is necessary. Is necessary. Life feeds on life. Feeds on life. Check it out. If you own that CD, Tool's Undertow, check it out. See if yours copy has that secret song on it. Anyways, so his divine shadow has no dominion over life, and can only use death as a means to control the minion-like humans that he must, because many of them give their very lives faithfully to the divine shadow. Which really got me personally contemplating something that's been going on in my new home here. Bear with me. There's this mosquito that's been flying around in my new home, mainly hanging out in the bedroom and the bathroom, probably attracted to the moisture, for the last month or so. Now, it's November, okay, so it's kind of weird. A mosquito, I probably got in here at some point, and now he's just flying around. And he's had to have had chances to bite me, although he hasn't. I'm trying to think, does this mosquito think I'm God? Which got me thinking about the movie Real Geniuses, starring the late Val Kilmer, where the young kid in the story, the young genius, is in this school where the top cheese, kind of a sinister genius, are talking with the kid, and the kid explains that his parents are good people. They just don't always understand what he's talking about. And this genius superior to the kid says, well, you have to understand, compared to us, most people have the IQ of a carrot. And my reference has come full circle, because this brings me back to the Undertow song on Tool's Undertow, because it's basically the harvesting of the carrots, or as the carrots know it, as the Holocaust. My reference has come full circle. But back to the mosquito. So finally the other day, I succeeded in swatting the mosquito that had been flying around in my bathroom and bedroom the last couple of weeks. If he bit me, I didn't know it, but he hasn't. And I got to contemplating, maybe he was thinking in his little mosquito brain, boy, I lived this long, I outlived all my friends, maybe because he was faster and stronger, maybe just lucky to have ended up in my domain. So he was starting to contemplate his own life. I think, what if this creature is God? If I bite him, I won't get to go to mosquito heaven. Now, we'll never know for sure if this mosquito, in fact made it to mosquito heaven, or if such a place exists. But I like to think that this poor little guy, he died, but now immortalized on YouTube on this video in hopes that something might be learned from it all. Now, I have no evidence to back this up. I was going to get evidence. His carcass, his deceased body, I swatted in the morning, was sitting on the floor of the shower. When I came home from work after working 12 hours to go get ready to the shower and go to bed, I forgot to get his carcass out. I was going to put it on a little piece of paper and show it for the camera, and so it'd have video evidence that my story was true. But I just forgot to get his corpse out before I turned the shower down, and he got flushed down the drain. So unfortunately for this little mosquito, if I in fact was his god, I was an absent-minded god at the very least. Now, when I swatted him, finally, it was in the morning, I was well rested. Perhaps I was more on top of my game that morning. Because every time I tried to grab him, I was usually pretty successful in life at grabbing mosquitoes. Most of them are not really that quick. But, yeah. But I do take comfort in this fact. The God that I put my faith in as a human is anything and everything but absent-minded. But because I am an absent-minded God, I guess, I have no evidence now that this poor little mosquito once existed. No evidence to back up my story. You'll just have to take my word. You'll have to take my word for everything I said here. I guess you'll just have to have a little bit of, I don't know, faith in me? Mike Verlack, thank you for your time.